Imagine being told you have no imagination, fired, broken, alone. This is the story of a man who turned rejection into a dream that lights up the world. The snow fell softly on the empty streets of Kansas City, each flake a quiet reminder of Walt Disney's fading dreams. It was 1919, and at just 18, Walt sat on a park bench, his breath visible in the cold air, his heart heavy with defeat. He had been fired from his job at the Kansas City Star. The editor's words echoed in his mind. "You lack imagination. You'll never make it as an artist." Those words cut deeper than the winter chill. Walt, a young man who saw stories in every shadow, felt his world crumble. He had no money, no job, and no one to believe in him. The spark inside him flickered, threatening to go out. But Walt was no stranger to struggle. Growing up on a farm in Marceline, Missouri, he had known hard work and hardship. His father's strict rules and the family's constant moves left little room for dreams. Yet, Walt found joy in sketching animals on scraps of paper, creating worlds where anything was possible. Those drawings were his escape, his hope. But now, sitting on that bench, hope felt like a distant memory. He wondered if the editor was right. Maybe he was just a dreamer with no future. Walt's stomach growled. He had a single dollar in his pocket, enough for a meal or a train ticket, but not both. He stood, brushing snow off his worn coat, and made a choice. He bought the ticket. The train rattled toward Chicago, carrying a young man with nothing but a sketchbook and a stubborn belief that his stories mattered. In Chicago, Walt took odd jobs, delivering newspapers, sweeping floors, anything to survive. At night, he drew. Mice, rabbits, and whimsical creatures filled his pages. Each stroke of his pencil was a rebellion against the voice that said he wasn't enough. But the world wasn't kind to dreamers. Walt's early attempts at animation failed. His first studio, Laugh-O-Gram, went bankrupt. He was 21, living in a tiny room, eating beans from a can, and sleeping on the floor. Friends urged him to give up, to get a real job. The weight of failure pressed down, heavy and unyielding. One night, alone in his room, Walt stared at a blank sheet of paper. Tears fell as he whispered, "What if they're right? What if I'm nothing?" The spark flickered again, weaker now. Then, something shifted. Walt remembered a mouse he'd seen scampering across his desk during those long nights at Laugh-O-Gram. That mouse, small but fearless, sparked an idea. He picked up his pencil and began to draw. Round ears, a cheeky grin, a spirit that refused to quit. He named him Mickey. This wasn't just a character. It was Walt pouring his heart onto the page, his defiance against a world that told him to stop dreaming. With his last savings, Walt moved to Hollywood. He and his brother Roy scraped together every penny to create a short film featuring Mickey Mouse. But no one wanted it. Distributors laughed, saying, "A talking mouse? It'll never work." Rejection after rejection piled up, each one a blow to Walt's fragile hope. Still, he didn't stop. He worked late into the night, sketching, animating, believing. In 1928, Steamboat Willie premiered, and Mickey Mouse came to life with sound, a first in animation history. The audience cheered. The spark inside Walt flared brighter. But success wasn't instant. Walt faced more setbacks. Studios tried to steal Mickey. Finances dwindled. He poured his heart into Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, a full-length animated film no one believed in. They called it Disney's Folly. The budget spiraled, and Walt mortgaged his house, risking everything. On release day in 1937, he stood outside the theater, heart pounding, waiting for the verdict. The audience didn't just watch, they wept, laughed, and stood to applaud. Snow White became a global sensation, proving that dreams could be bigger than doubt. Walt's journey wasn't smooth. He faced strikes, financial crises, and moments of self-doubt. But each time the spark flickered, he fought to keep it alive. He built Disneyland, a place where imagination became real, despite critics who said it would fail. He created films that touched hearts across generations. The man once fired for lacking imagination became a global legend, his name synonymous with creativity and hope. Walt Disney's life wasn't a fairy tale. It was a battle. Every rejection, every failure was a chance to give up. But he didn't. He chose to believe in the spark inside him, even when the world didn't. That spark became a flame, lighting up screens, parks, and hearts worldwide. Today, Disney's legacy reminds us that imagination is unstoppable when you refuse to let it die. Your dreams are stronger than your doubts. No matter how many times the world says no, your belief in yourself can create something extraordinary. Keep your spark alive, because even the smallest light can change the world.